We are joined now by Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. He is a member of both the Armed Services and Foreign Relations Committee. Senator Kaine was Hillary Clinton's running mate in the 2016 presidential election. Senator, good morning.
Thanks, Norah.
Want to talk about Syria. We have 2,000 U.S. troops there in Syria. The president sent a letter to Congress yesterday saying he has the constitutional authority to do this because it's in the vital national security and foreign policy interests of the United States, that he doesn't need Congress's approval. True?
No, the president's wrong. I think this is an illegal military act. It's one that I would likely support if he brought it to Congress, but we have a president, not a king, and the Constitution says it's Congress that gets to declare war, not the president. What the president can do is defend the United States against imminent attack, but if it's a matter of going on offense against a sovereign nation of Syria, he's got to come to Congress, especially since they've laid out that they've known for months about these chemical weapons attacks.
All right, so other than that, asking for Congress's approval, though, you've raised kind of a larger question, though, is where's the strategy, right?
It's very important. A military action isn't an end, it's a means to an end. So what's the goal here? After Raqqa fell, our troops did a great job working with coalition partners to battle ISIS. Okay, so now we're still in Syria. What's the goal now? Is it to prevent ISIS from reemerging? Is it to topple Assad, check Iran, check Russia, help Israel, help Turkey, help the Kurds? What's the strategy? Why are we there? That's how you know whether a military action makes sense or not. But what the administration hasn't done is come and present to us. And you saw the president 10 days ago said we're getting out of Syria, and then last Friday night we're dropping bombs on Syria. So we need to have that strategic discussion.
This question of whether he has authority matters, because is he taking actions out of his lane? President Obama acted in Libya, and he acted in Syria outside of the authorization of force after the attacks of 9/11. So this is kind of a presidential standard. It's not something aberrant that President Trump is doing.
It is true, and I criticized President Obama. I mean, we're friends, but when he went into Libya without a congressional vote, House Republicans criticized him, and I did too. When he wanted to use missile strikes against Syria for using chemical weapons, I said he needed to come to Congress, and he did come to Congress on that. He followed the rules on that one. On the Foreign Relations Committee, we voted to allow missile strikes.
But it wasn't his argument about Congress in that instance with Syria that basically Congress is not up to the task, that nobody wants to be out there making a claim and staking their reputations on these actions, and therefore a president's got to act. And in this case, the strategy is, look, they used chemical weapons. They need to be punished.
Whether the Congress is up to the task doesn't change the Constitution. I got a kid in the military. You know, why does it require a vote of Congress? It's a judgment that if we're going to make our young men and women risk their lives, kill or be killed, it ought to be based on a congressional vote that this is in the national interest. And if Congress is afraid to have a vote, how dare we order people to go risk their lives and the lives of their colleagues? I mean, that's why you have the vote. The other reason you have a debate and vote is that's what educates the American public about what the stakes are. If the president just one-off can do this or that, what's to stop the president from saying, I need to bomb Iran, I need to bomb North Korea? If he thinks he can do this without Congress, then he believes he can do anything without
Norah
Congress.
mentioned the 2,000 troops there. There was some confusion about how long they will stay there over the weekend. French President Macron said that he was able to convince President Trump to keep the troops there longer. The White House has been walking that back. What are your views on how long troops should be there?
Well, I think it really begins with a strategic discussion. What are we trying to accomplish? Okay, then we will know what the right role for the troops are. You're right. The president said he'd be out. Then we heard over the weekend that maybe we'll be out in 4 to 6 months, but then I've heard administration officials walk that back. So I actually don't know what the answer is, but this is the month, April and May. We're on the Armed Services Committee. We write the defense authorizing bill for the year, and there's going to be ample opportunity to pin the administration down on this.
Let me ask you about James Comey. Hillary Clinton said he shivved her. How are we supposed to take his new revelations?
I don't think Jim Comey was trying to affect the outcome of the election. I think he made a real blunder by violating two rules that the FBI had with respect to Hillary Clinton and following the two rules with Donald Trump. The FBI had two rules. Don't talk about a pending investigation. Don't put controversial material right before the public, right before the election. He did that with respect to Hillary Clinton. He didn't do it with respect to Trump. But I think it was more about protecting his own reputation than it was about trying to affect the outcome of the race.
He said he had to speak out in order to make sure that there was integrity for her presidency.
Why wouldn't he?
Is that part of his job? Is that the FBI director's
job? No, it's not part of his job, but if he was going to do that, why wouldn't he have spoken out about the Trump investigation, which had been ongoing in the FBI as well? There was a clear double standard, but look, I believe he was not trying to impact the outcome of the election. I think he was trying to protect his own reputation.
Do you think it did impact the election?
Look, there were a lot of things that did, and I suspect it had some impact, but I walked back into my Senate office 5 days after I introduced Hillary here in New York for her concession speech, and when I crossed the mantle into my office, I realized this job's just got much more important than it was before the election. And so I'm focused on things like Syria, trying to rein in an executive that wants to wage war, without Congress. That's what I'm focused on.
All right, Senator Kaine, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks much.